Welcome to today's safety orientation session. This training is intended for all new and seasonal employees. In this training session, we will cover general safety and security issues as well as specific safety procedures. The objective of this training session is to give you a comprehensive safety orientation to our workplace. By the end of this session, you will be able to understand your role in our organization's safety and health program, including security procedures. Get safety information from various sources, including workplace safety newsletters, bulletin boards, safety committee members, and labels or safety data sheets. Identify hazards, take care of them, and/or report them, including reporting procedures, forms, and contact information. Prevent and respond to fires and other emergencies. Respond promptly and properly to accidents and give first aid to yourself and coworkers. And evacuate the facility safely. You will also be able to apply ergonomic principles to adjust job tasks to your body, lift and transport items safely to protect your back, use protective equipment and clothing when necessary, understand machine safety, understand basic electrical hazards, and recognize chemical hazards and understand your right to know about them. According to an OSHA Safety and Health Fact Sheet, more than 5,500 employees in this country die from workplace injuries. 1.3 million workers suffer non-fatal injuries that result in days away from work. In a recent Bureau of Labor Statistics Lost Work Time Injuries and Illnesses report, states that employees with fewer than 6 years of employment accounted for 37% of all illnesses and injuries sustained, higher than their 31% share of employment. In addition, maintaining a safe and healthy workplace can help your employer tackle rising workers' compensation premiums and lost work time due to injuries. It's in everyone's best interest to stay safe at work. You play an important role in the safety of this workplace. The goal of our safety policy is to ensure an accident-free workplace while maintaining a high level of protection. For us to achieve this goal, you need to continue to participate in all safety training sessions as required. Report any hazards and unsafe conditions you see. Report any incidents and near misses that occur. We need to know about problems so that we can investigate their causes and make necessary changes. Remember that you play a big role in the successful implementation of safety in your organization. Always keep a safe attitude and urge others to also. And ask your supervisor for help whenever you are not sure how to proceed safely. Our workplace has a safety incentive program to encourage positive safety behavior and the meeting of safety goals. We also have a progressive discipline policy to discourage reckless and unsafe behavior. We value your feedback in all of our safety programs. Make sure you're familiar with your facility's written safety policies, as well as know where to obtain and how to fill out hazard or accident report forms. Here are some general safety rules. Obey all safety warning signs, including locks and tags on equipment, no smoking signs, and confined spaces. Follow all safety procedures, including wearing appropriate protective equipment in certain areas and not tampering with locks or tags on machines. Do not take shortcuts, including skipping a daily inspection or a startup procedure. Do not engage in horseplay, such as tossing tools, and use your common sense about safety concerns. If something doesn't look or feel right, check it out with your supervisor before proceeding. Make sure you know and follow your facility's general safety rules. You also play an important role in the security of our facility. Here's what you need to know. The goal of our security policy is to ensure a safe workplace and protect employees from violent or terrorist attacks. You need to follow all security procedures. Keep all security doors locked at all times. Do not lend keys, badges, or cards to anyone. Recognize and respond to emergency and evacuation alarms. Finally, participate in drills as well. You also need to report all security concerns, such as unlocked or propped open security doors. Also report security items that seem to be tampered with, including locks, cameras, and lights. Report strangers you see in the workplace or loitering outside. Report suspicious envelopes or packages, such as those with no return address, misspellings, powdery substances, or greasy spills. Finally, cooperate with investigations into security concerns and follow up reports on violent or terrorist events. Violence in the workplace is a serious risk. In fact, 1/6 of violent crimes occur in the workplace. Your best defense is knowing what to do if you encounter a violent individual. When you notice signs of potential violence, take immediate steps to defuse the situation. Here's what to do. Remain calm and continue to speak in a moderate tone of voice. Show respect to people even when they become upset. Focus on the problem by asking for details about the situation and going over possible solutions. If you still feel the person may become violent, alert an employee or colleague with a pre-arranged danger signal. Finally, report the situation immediately according to the established procedures if things threaten to get out of control. You need to know where to get safety information in the facility. Here are the likely places. Safety bulletin boards may contain OSHA safety posters as well as notices of our safety goals and program updates. Your safety supervisor for questions, safety suggestions, and concerns. Our safety committee. Contact any committee member with items you would like us to put on the agenda. Also, specific safety information such as hazardous material lists and safety data sheets. You can always ask your supervisor for specific safety information. Make sure you know where safety bulletin boards are located, who your safety supervisor and committee members are, and where to find specific safety information in our facility. Hazard identification is a crucial step in keeping our facility safe. Here's how you can identify safety hazards. Keep your eyes open for safety hazards all the time. Vigilance is key for staying safe. Don't become complacent and ignore wet spots, frayed wires, open drawers, or smoking equipment, for example. Fix hazards that you are authorized and qualified to fix, such as mopping up spilled coffee, closing a drawer, and picking up items from stairways or aisles. Report hazards for which you are not authorized and qualified to fix, such as chemical spills, malfunctioning machines or equipment, and suspicious packages. And we are always willing to consider changes to procedures, tools, or equipment to improve safety. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, about 300,000 U.S. workers sustain non-fatal injuries from slips, trips, and falls each year. Here is a list of common work conditions that can lead to slips, trips, and falls. Be aware of these things and avoid them. Power cords, ropes, and hoses across floors and walkways are common tripping hazards. Open-sided floors and aisles are fall hazards. Clutter on floors and in aisles are typical tripping hazards. Floors, wall holes, and openings are trip and fall hazards. Open pits, tanks, vats, and ditches are fall hazards. Finally, wet floors are common slip and fall hazards. Housekeeping is a vital part of our safety program because good housekeeping greatly reduces hazards. Here's how. Store all tools and materials in their places to help keep clear access to evacuation routes, emergency exits, firefighting equipment, first aid stations, and electric panels. Keep walkways and stairwells clear to prevent slips, trips, and falls, back injuries, and broken bones. Close drawers and doors to prevent tripping, bumping, and scraping injuries. And dispose of trash promptly and properly to prevent the accumulation of combustible materials such as paper, cardboard, and rags. Make sure you follow our facility's specific housekeeping procedures. Here are the areas where fires commonly start, along with the steps you can take to prevent fire hazards in these areas. Office hazards include combustible debris such as paper and cardboard, hot office equipment, space heaters, and smoking. Follow workplace procedures and promptly dispose of paper and cardboard, and keep these items away from hot equipment such as copiers, printers, and space heaters. Do not smoke in non-smoking areas. Electrical hazards include overloaded outlets, frayed wires or cords, or malfunctioning equipment. Also, extension cords that aren't rated for the equipment load. Don't use any of these items and report problems to your supervisor. Material hazards include flammable liquids such as oil, gas, kerosene, many solvents, and waste paper. Compressed flammable gases have flash points below room temperatures. You will receive specific training if you handle or work around any of these materials. Make sure you know the specific fire hazards in our facility and what you can do to prevent fires. If you are trained and authorized to use a fire extinguisher, take these steps to respond to fires. Make sure you know where the nearest fire extinguisher is to your work area at all times. Note the location of extinguishers whenever you work in a new area, even if only temporarily. Be sure the extinguisher is designed to fight the type of fire you have. For example, only certain extinguishers can be used for electrical fires. Check the label to be sure. To use a fire extinguisher, remember the acronym PASS. Pull the pin, aim the hose at the base of the fire, Squeeze the trigger to release fire retardant material and sweep the hose back and forth low across the fire. And make sure you know how to use the fire extinguishers in our facility. Follow these steps to respond to an accident. When an accident or emergency happens, call professional help immediately. Follow our procedure for calling 911 and the safety director. Call the in-house emergency contact. Give emergency first aid if you are trained to do so. Report every incident as soon as possible after meeting immediate medical and safety needs. Follow workplace procedures and completely fill out reports. Also remember to file the proper paperwork as required by OSHA following any incident. Your company would be fined if proper records are not filed. Finally, cooperate with our accident investigation to help us figure out what happened and how to prevent it from happening again. Make sure you know and follow our facility's accident response procedures. Here's what to do when a coworker has a medical emergency. Our emergency contact information sheet has the names and numbers for people in your work area who are trained to administer first aid. Employees who were injured can contact any trained first aid provider for assistance. Eye wash stations are provided in areas where there is a chance for eye injuries from released or spilled materials or flying objects. Report to your supervisor anytime you use an eye wash station. First aid boxes are located throughout the facilities. Your supervisor will show you where they are. If you have questions or problems about a first aid box, call the number on the box or your supervisor for assistance. If you work with chemicals, you can review the material safety data sheet, known as an SDS, for each chemical before you work with it. This sheet describes first aid requirements for the material. Protect yourself against bloodborne pathogens such as hepatitis and HIV by using universal precautions. Avoid contact with blood and other bodily fluids by using gloves from the first aid kit. Make sure you know and follow our facility's emergency response procedures, including who our in-house emergency contact is, where first aid kits are kept, and which employees are CPR qualified. There are many reasons we may need to evacuate our facilities. In all cases, follow workplace evacuation procedures. First, recognize our evacuation signal. Listen for special evacuation instructions. Shut down equipment in your area with emergency stop controls. Follow the nearest safe evacuation route, avoiding elevators. If your first exit route is full of smoke or otherwise obstructed, use the next nearest route and proceed immediately to the designated assembly area. Walk, don't run, and report to the supervisor in charge when you arrive so that everyone can be accounted for in a quick and orderly manner. Do not leave the assembly area until told to do so. Make sure you know and follow our evacuation procedures, including how to shut off equipment, what exit routes to use, and where to assemble outside the building. Failure to observe safety precautions when operating mowing equipment can result in serious injury or death. The most common types of serious accidents are agricultural mowers and riding lawn mowers can overturn, causing injury and death. Also, serious injury or death can result from being caught in mowing equipment's moving parts. Safety starts before the engine. A thorough inspection of the mower or trimmer is important before beginning work each day. Use a checklist as a guide for daily visual inspections. Alert your supervisor if you find anything wrong during your daily pre-start inspection. Check for loose belts that can slip, causing friction and possible fires, as well as can break and be flung from the mower. Ensure the blade is secured and balanced and covered to prevent injury. Fluid leaks can be a fire hazard as well as cause breakdowns. Check mower deck and chute for the accumulation of debris. Any buildup can cause fire hazard and breakdowns. Lastly, missing or damaged guards. Make sure that guards and shields protect you from the moving parts. Check the owner's manual for the location of guards and safety shields on the equipment you are using. Remove debris and be aware of your surroundings. Walk the area to be mowed or trimmed and pick up any debris such as rocks, sticks, bottles, cans, or wires. Debris picked up by the mower or trimmer can be thrown from the machine at speeds as high as 200 miles per hour or cause the equipment to jam or malfunction. While scanning the area of debris, locate other potential hazards such as ditches, drop-offs, or embankments. Be aware at all times of the location of coworkers and keep all others out of the area while you are mowing or trimming. Make sure that the chute of the mower is pointed away from people, animals, buildings, and traffic. Be aware of the startup safety procedures. Make sure all attachments are disengaged, then shift into neutral before starting the engine. Always start with the string or brush trimmers on the ground. Start riding equipment from the operator's seat only and keep hands and feet away from any moving parts. Be aware of the safe shutdown procedures. Disengage the blade and other attachments, lower the attachments to the ground, shift the controls into neutral while setting the parking brake, turn off the engine, and remove the key. Gasoline and other fuels are flammable. Follow safe fueling procedures to help reduce the risk of fuel ignition. Always shut off the engine and wait at least 5 minutes for the engine to cool before refueling. Use only approved fuel containers and store in a well-ventilated area away from direct sunlight. Never smoke or have an open flame near fuel. Touch the fuel nozzle to the machine before removing the fuel cap to prevent a static spark from igniting the fuel. Use a funnel or a non-spill nozzle while fueling to reduce spillage. Keep the nozzle or funnel in contact with the fuel tank while filling. Wipe up all spills immediately before starting the engine. And finally, never clean your hands with gasoline. Use a non-flammable solvent instead. When a mower becomes unstable or out of balance, it can roll over. A human's reaction time is too slow to stop a rollover once it starts. Look over the area before you mow, noting all land elevation changes. Once you have assessed the area to be mowed, observe the following precautions to avoid rollover accidents. Do not mow near drop-offs, ditches, embankments, or steep slopes. The wheels on your mower and attachments can drop off or slide over the edge, causing the mower to roll over. Use a string trimmer to cut grass in these locations. Do not operate tractors and mowers on steep hills. Refer to the operator's manual for the maximum slope allowed for your equipment. Avoid sudden moves. Abrupt starts, stops, and sharp turns can make the equipment roll over. Slow down when turning and make wide, gradual turns, especially when mowing on slopes. Turning quickly and sharply can cause the mower to overturn. When mowing on slopes, don't turn unless you have to. If turning is required, turn slowly and downhill. After the common cold, back injuries are the second leading cause of missed workdays. Take these steps to prevent back injuries. When moving a load, assess its size, weight, and bulk. Ask for help if it's too big, heavy, or awkward. Or use material handling equipment, which we will cover next. If the load is manageable for you alone, use these safe lifting techniques. Bend at the knees, not the waist. Pull the load close to your body, and make sure you face the load as you lift. Don't twist your body while lifting, and let your legs do the lifting by holding the load close to your body and standing up with your back straight. Don't overextend when you reach for items. Move your whole body closer to those objects. Finally, use a footrest when standing for long periods. Use material handling equipment to make your job easier and safer. Follow these steps. Assess the load you need to move and the distance you need to move it to determine what equipment to use. Choose the right equipment. Hand trucks, dollies, and carts put wheels and a platform under your load. Powered vehicles such as forklifts move large loads and require special training. Conveyors move loads through the company, and hoists and derricks require special training. Load material handling equipment safely. Place heavy objects on the bottom with the load over the wheel axles. Stack lighter objects on the top to a height well below the eye level. And secure bulky, loose, or delicate items with ties or cords. Push material handling equipment. Do not pull it because it will increase the risk of injuring your back, arms, or legs. Finally, wear the appropriate PPE for the load or area. PPE and clothing are required for certain jobs in our workplace. Wear required PPE at all times. Your supervisor will issue your personal protective equipment and give you specific instructions. Wear PPE in required areas, such as forklift areas, warehouses, or delivery docks, even if you're only passing through. It only takes a second for an object to fall off a shelf and injure you. Inspect your PPE before every use. Get a good fit and make sure it completely covers the areas to be protected and is comfortable. Maintain your PPE according to the workplace schedules and procedures. Lastly, store PPE properly according to the company's procedures. Make sure you know when and where you're required to wear PPE in your facility. Also make sure you know how to get a good fit and how to inspect, maintain, and store your personal protective equipment. Electrical hazards are present in every workplace. Here are common sense precautions you should take to stay safe around electricity. Use plugs that fit the outlet. Do not alter a plug to make it fit. Check electrical wires and insulation for equipment you use. Make sure electrical connections are tight on equipment you use. Keep material that can burn or ignite away from electrical outlets, and keep a clear access to the electrical access panels and boxes. Here's what you should not do. to stay safe around electricity. Do not overload electrical outlets. Do not fasten cords with staples, nails, or anything that could penetrate the insulation. Do not run cords through water or wet spots, and don't touch cords with wet hands. Do not use damaged cords, and do not use ungrounded cords or equipment, or remove the grounding prong from the 3-pronged plug. Make sure you take the specific electrical precautions required in your facilities. Thousands of accidents occur each year in commercial motor vehicles and in non-commercial vehicles used in the workplace. Here are some general points you should remember about defensive driving. Inspect and maintain your vehicle. Know driving hazards and dangerous conditions. Back into parking spots. It's safer than backing out. Wear your seatbelt. Follow safe driving practices in all driving conditions. Keep your lights on and use turn signals. And finally, know how to respond to emergencies. Our workplace will be a safe place to work when everyone thinks safety and works safely all the time. Here are the key points to remember from this safety orientation training session. Play your role in safety and security. Look for and report hazards. Use common sense. Respond safely to emergencies, and follow workplace safety procedures. This concludes this training session. If you have any questions regarding anything in this session, please contact your direct supervisor.